The crystalline hull of the Zyakon mothership trembled as Queen Velterra's voice reverberated through every molecule of the structure. Her 4 eyes, each the size of a human head, blazed with bioluminescent fury as she surveyed the assembled council of 14 species. Who dares tamper with the Nexus core? The question wasn't merely spoken, it was transmitted through quantum-entangled particles that made every being present feel the words in their bones, their carapaces, their energy fields. Melissa Chen stood at the far edge of the hall, her human frame dwarfed by the towering aliens surrounding her. As the only human engineer aboard the diplomatic vessel, she'd been summoned along with hundreds of other technicians. After the Nexus core, the ancient device that maintained faster than communication across 17 galaxies, had suddenly stopped malfunctioning. That was the problem. For 3 standard weeks, the core had been hemorrhaging exotic matter, threatening to collapse into a singularity that would devour the entire sector. Every species had tried to fix it. The Kolvari had attempted to recalibrate its dimensional anchors. The crystalline Jund had harmonized their thought patterns with its quantum substrate. The biomechanical Reshtar had grown neural interfaces directly into its control systems. Nothing worked. The core spiraled closer to catastrophic failure each day. Then, 17 hours ago, it simply stopped, stabilized, returned to perfect operational parameters. Queen Velterra's species, the Zyakon, had maintained the Nexus core for 47,000 years. In all that time, no one had ever solved a core crisis without their direct oversight. The fact that someone had fixed it without permission was not just shocking, it was sacrilege. The Nexus core is not a plaything, Velterra continued, her translator implants rendering her clicks and subsonic rumbles into comprehensible speech for each species present. It maintains the gravitational constant of 300 billion star systems. Its quantum threads connect the consciousness of trillions. Whoever interfered with it risked unraveling reality itself. Melissa felt her heart hammering. She knew she should remain silent. Every instinct screamed at her to let this moment pass, to let the blame fall on someone else, anyone else. But she also knew the truth. No one else had fixed it. Only her. I did, she said, her voice barely audible in the vast chamber. The hall fell silent. Even the background hum of alien life support systems seemed to pause. Velterra's massive head swiveled with predatory precision until all 4 eyes locked onto Melissa's position. The Queen's body, a magnificent fusion of exoskeleton and energy matter that towered 12 meters high, shifted forward. The word carried layers of meaning, disbelief, curiosity, and something that might have been respect. A human. Your species has barely mastered fusion reactors. You cannot even perceive 17 of the quantum dimensions the core operates within. Melissa stepped forward, her legs trembling but her voice steady. That's exactly why I could fix it, Your Majesty. The crowd erupted. Delegates hissed, chirped, and bellowed in their native languages. A Kolvari ambassador's thermal signature flared orange with indignation. How dare a human claim advantage over elder species? Silence. Velterra's command rippled through the quantum field, and every voice ceased. Explain yourself, human. Melissa pulled out her datapad, hands shaking slightly as she projected a holographic schematic into the air. Every species here approached the core with their advanced understanding of multidimensional physics. You tried to fix it using frameworks that assume reality operates on principles you've spent millennia proving. She zoomed in on a segment of the core's architecture, but the malfunction wasn't in the quantum substrate or the dimensional anchors. It was in the original programming architecture code written 47,000 years ago. Velterra leaned closer, her breath washing over Melissa like a wave of ionized particles. Impossible. That code is optimized beyond its too optimized, Melissa interrupted, immediately regretting her boldness. But she pressed on. I'm sorry, Your Majesty, but it's true. The core's original programmers created self-modifying code that would evolve with the universe's expanding complexity. After 47,000 years, that code had become so recursive, so nested in its own optimizations that it created a logical paradox. She pulled up another image, a simple flowchart with a glaring circular reference. Here, subroutine 447 alpha was calling function 982 omega, which was calling 447 alpha in an infinite loop. But because the calls were separated by 17 quantum dimensions, your instruments couldn't detect them operating simultaneously. A Jund delegate's crystalline structure chimed skeptically. If we could not detect this, how did you— I didn't. Melissa allowed herself a small smile. I couldn't perceive those dimensions. So I did something you'd never think to do. I treated the core like a simple machine. I traced the code linearly, one function at a time, ignoring everything I couldn't understand, and there, in the basic three-dimensional logic layer that no one had examined in millennia, I found the loop. She gestured to a final hologram. I added 7 lines of code, just 7, a simple interrupt function that breaks the recursive call every y-43 seconds at the Planck timescale. The core never notices the interruption, but it's enough to prevent the paradox. The hall remained silent for a long moment. Then Queen Veltara did something unprecedented. She lowered her head, bringing her massive face level with Melissa's. You saved 17 galaxies with 7 lines of code, she said quietly, because you had the humility to acknowledge your limitations and the courage to try anyway. Melissa felt tears welling up. I couldn't let everyone die because I was too afraid to try. Veltara's mouthparts arranged themselves in what Melissa had learned was a Zayakan smile. What is your name, human? Melissa Chen, Your Majesty. Engineer, second class. No longer, Veltara declared, her voice once again filling the hall. Melissa Chen, you are hereby appointed Guardian Engineer of the Nexus Core. You will work alongside my chief architects with full authority. As the hall erupted in approving sounds from 14 species, Melissa noticed another human at the edge of the crowd, Jack Morrison, her friend and fellow engineer from Earth. He was grinning widely, giving her an enthusiastic thumbs up. She'd done it. A human, small, limited, barely able to perceive a fraction of the universe's complexity, had saved reality itself. Not despite her limitations, but because of them.